Welcome again to the Truth Guitar channel. I'm Gary Hudson, and this is my Agile Strat. I bought this from rondomusic.com, and they call it the Agile ST625 EB White on their website. Few things about the guitar that particularly attracted me to it was first of all, the fact that it has an ebony fingerboard. And for the price of the guitar, that's pretty good. Pretty difficult to come by a Stratocaster with an ebony fingerboard. Fender only makes a few of them. Most replacement necks are pretty expensive with an ebony fingerboard. But this one has one, and I love it. 22 frets. It shows you the headstock. It says Agile. It has Grover tuners. It has a graphite nut. I like the size of the truss rod. Many of the USA Stratocasters that have come in have an 1/8 of an inch truss rod, which is a very small, easily breakable truss rod. This one is a 4mm, which is considerably larger and a lot safer. I haven't done anything to this guitar as yet, because this one's going to be fully modified and it's going to become one of the beaters. There's the tremolo. It is a nice 2-point tremolo with stainless steel saddles. That's really quality there in that hardware. And I'm anxious to take it apart and see what's in there. I ordered it with a case, and they sent me this nice hard shell case. It's a good idea when you buy a guitar online to get the case with it, because that helps protect it in shipment. Turn the guitar over. It has a natural satin Canadian maple neck that is finished in a natural satin clear, which I like. I like the feel of this neck. It's very, very slick. It has some nice strap buttons. Nice and big, beefy. Everything about the guitar is beefy. I haven't taken the plate off yet here, the tremolo cover, but looking inside I can tell there's a big block in there, which I also really like. The advertisement for this guitar says that it has a 2-piece alder body, which I find also as an attractive component of the guitar, because a lot of the bodies for Strats are 3-piece. This one being 2-piece, I really dig that. This guitar is a definite candidate to become one of the badass beaters from Folkestone guitars. Now, I've got 2 criticisms of the guitar. Only 2. Number 1, the pickups suck. I'm going to just tell you flat out, these are not good sounding Stratocaster pickups, okay? So if you get one of these guitars, I strongly urge you to replace the pickups. They're not all that great. So this is going to have a set of DiMarzios. I'm going to put in the Lead Pro 1 pickups, and I'll be showing you the pickups that'll be going in this guitar. Criticism number 2, and there's only two. Only two. The paint job is not all that impressive. If you look real carefully, I don't know how well you can see it here. You see little ripples in the paint, which means only in this instance that the wood was not sealed quite that well when they painted it. So they evidently did seal it, but maybe they didn't sand it enough. So you can see the pores of the wood in some of the areas of the paint job. So it's a little bit rough, a little bit of checking there with the wood pores. But it's not all that big of a deal. This is going to be a beater guitar. So the two problems that I have with the guitar I can easily live with for my purposes. My purposes with this guitar involve a radical overhaul of the electronics and to just really turn this thing into a screaming, badass, great playing rock and blues guitar. So that's what we're going to do with it. I haven't done a thing to this one. I haven't set it up. I have plugged it in and listened to it. It plays great. The neck is very playable. It's a nice neck. It's not a thin neck, and it's not really a thick neck. It's sort of somewhere between a C and a D type neck feel. Quite comfortable, by the way. I found that I actually like this type of neck a lot more, and it has a 10-inch radius instead of a 9.5. So the fingerboard radius is a little bit flatter on this one, which is great for string bending. Comes with jumbo frets. They're all polished and they're all level. Great guitar, especially for the money. I have the receipt right here. Shows what I paid for it. The guitar was $349.95. The case was $52.95, and the postage was $26.60. So that's a total of $429.50. I got this guitar with a hard shell case from rondomusic.com for $429.50. Not bad for a Strat with an ebony fingerboard, nice frets, good wood, two-piece alder body, and Grover tuners. Next, we're going to take it apart, and I mean, when I say take it apart, I mean completely. Every single nut, screw, all the wiring, everything's going to be pulled out because we've got some great stuff going in, and I'll be showing you that in the next clip. Okay, I've torn the guitar down now and taken a look inside. It is routed out for HSH. It has shielding paint, black shielding paint, only in the control cavity. It has no shielding whatsoever in the pickup cavity. There's the brass bushings there that are in there for the tremolo. By the way, when I got the tremolo off, I took a good look at it, and it says Wilkinson on there. So this is a Wilkinson tremolo. Good stuff. It is a big block, by the way, and it has an adjustment for the tremolo arm. The arm does not screw in. It slides in, and it has a little fitting, I don't know how well you can see this, right there underneath the bridge plate for tightening the tension on the whammy bar, a little set screw. And the access to this is obtained from the rear, because this is mounted on the guitar with a space. There's a little space that you want to leave back there to slip that Allen wrench in there and tighten that set screw for the tension on the whammy bar. I like the tremolo, and I'm looking here at some of the other parts that I don't like too much. It has one of these cheap output jacks. That's going to go anyway because we're going to be putting an active board in there. And here are the pickups that came out, and everything's going to be left here intact because I'm not using any of it. I'm not using these pots. These are alpha quarter-size pots, which are pretty good pots. I can keep them around here for spare parts. If somebody comes in and they can't quite afford to have a guitar worked on, sometimes I'll give them a decent pot. If they need a pot replaced on their guitar, I'll just throw one of those in. I can use them for that. Normally I use CTS. Here's the switch. It's one of these cheap Asian switches. Don't trust those things at all. I'm going to be putting a seal switch in there. And here's the pickups. They're not very big in their windings, which explains why they were very weak. They didn't have much output and the quality wasn't that great. So this entire harness here is I have no use for, because I'm going to not only be putting some white cover DiMarzios in, but I am also changing the pick guard to something that's going to be really cool. I have one of these going on. Isn't that cool? This is also why I wanted the guitar to be white, because I had it targeted for this great pick guard. And the pickup covers will be white, and they will be DiMarzio pickups. I will be shielding this pick guard. I got this off eBay, and there's plenty more where this one came from Greasy Groove, made in Canada. Really a cool pick guard. So the only thing I'm using off the harness are the knobs. That's it. The guitar kit came with 4 Allen wrenches. I know what this is for. This is for the truss rod. That's a 4mm. I know what this is for. This is for the bushing height on the tremolo, the post, that is, that goes into the to the bushings here. For screwing the post in and out of the guitar. This Allen wrench, I haven't figured out what it's for yet. I can't find anything on the guitar that this is for. This Allen wrench will tighten the set screw for the tremolo on the whammy bar, and also adjust the height of the stainless steel saddles. Perhaps this is a universal kit that they include in other Strat style guitars. I don't know. Maybe it's one that they just throw in there because it maybe it goes to a tilt neck adjustment or something. I'm not sure, but there's no tilt neck adjustment with this guitar. I found that there was a shim in the neck, which I wasn't very happy to see. The factory had this neck shimmed, and by the way, you will sometimes open up Fender guitars and find them having a little shim tucked away. So it's not too surprising to see a shim in there. But it's not necessary. If you set this guitar up properly, the shim won't be needed. So that's just something to sort of help them on the neck angle a little bit when they're doing the setup at the factory, but I'm quite certain that it's not going to be necessary. I have one friend, one of my customers, who has had several nice Stratocasters, and he told me that he had one where he took the neck off and the shim actually said USA Fender on the shim itself that was being used to shim the Stratocaster neck. Oh gosh, I haven't seen one of those personally myself, but that would be a spectacle, let me tell you. And here's the tremolo route. It has a nice heavy-duty quality hanger, and I like the guitar. I like this as a piece to modify, because you can just go any which way you want with this guitar. And it's going to be a beater, so it's the kind of guitar that can be dinged and beat up, and you're not going to have to worry about scratching up a real expensive piece if you happen to make marks on it. It has a nice deep output jack route, which I like, because sometimes you have a problem with these not being deep enough, and when you put a bigger output jack in there, especially one for a low impedance 3-lug, it has a tendency to run into the bottom, to bottom out in there when you put the input jack into the guitar. So I'm glad to see a good sized cavity there. This is all going to be shielded up. We're not going to make any use of this shielding paint at all. This is going to be shielded up with copper tape, as well as the entire bottom of the scratch plate. So we'll show you these mods when we get this on the way.